In this interview recorded just before Christmas, Robin talks about the closeness of the brothers and reveals his spiritual side in more ways than one.
Thank you very much for letting us into your absolutely beautiful home, which
Pleasure.
I know will be a recurring theme through this chat. We're here to meet you as a solo performer, which is kind of rare. Your new single is out. Tell me a little bit about that.
New single's out, it's called Please, and it's my first solo album in quite a few years, and I'm having fun doing it. Still feel like a BG, but and that's how I want it. It's a BG doing a solo album.
Does it make you feel quite vulnerable going out on your own? I know you've done it before, but...
I don't feel vulnerable going out because even as a BG, there are many times you go out on your own, even to promote BGs, so, or to be a BG, you find that you're on your own sometimes. So it's not, it doesn't really feel too much different. Your
brothers, I know, live quite near.
Yeah.
And are you always sort of in and out of each other's houses? Is it that kind of relationship?
No, we live very much separate lives. It's something kind of strange to most people who see us as a family. But I don't think I would say we're a dysfunctional family, but we're very brought together more by music. In fact, I'd like to get it up to dysfunctional, that'd be good. But it's pretty good. And we have a common bond in our music. I wouldn't say that we were the kind of family that gathers around the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And,
when you were little, I remember reading that you didn't feel the need for any other friends, or
I think that was the three of us.
Yes.
The three of us didn't feel the need, because we created our own little kind of universe, you know, where we just wrote and created things. So it was very hard. It wasn't that we kept people out, it's just that people couldn't get in.
Is that still like it now? Are you still quite exclusive, still quite...
When we're writing, yes, we can't write with other people in the room.
Does it make you a slightly, not aloof, but a slightly different kind of person if you then fall into that passionate, creative type?
But I think that's good. I think it is important to feel the need to create something. I've never understood anybody who didn't have the desire to create. If we had the choice between being in a nightclub and being in the studio, we'd be in the studio.
Right.
And
but you've ticked the rock star box, haven't you?
But not as much as some, you know, where, you know, we haven't actually gone completely wild. Maybe, you know, we've sailed close to the edge, but certainly not in terms of what, say, a lot of other artists have done.
Do you keep yourself in check, or it's just not attractive to you?
I'm a vegetarian, macrobiotic. I don't drink or smoke. And an hour after I get up every morning, I do 170 push-ups.
That's ludicrous.
It is ludicrous. I've been told that.
But look at you. I mean, you know.
But look, indeed.
And why is that? Is that out of respect? Is that because you like to look good, or is that... I mean, you're obviously quite a spiritual person. Is that because you appreciate the body you've been given and you want to...
Well, it's the only one you've got, you see. And when you think about it, everything that you have, your body is a whole universe, really. It's how you experience the world. And no one else can do that for you. It's going to be through this vehicle that you have, you know, that you look out of every day. And this is it. So, yeah, so how you feel and how you look after yourself is very important.
You struck me as being quite a strange mix between pragmatic and spiritual, quite down-to-earth and spiritual.
I think that's a good description. I think I am a mixture of the two, with a little bit of rebel thrown in.
Hey, so when you've had huge emotional turmoil in your life, like very close together, you lost Andy and your father, did you turn to the practical side of your nature, or did you turn to the spiritual side? Which helped you?
A bit of both. There was a bit of me that said, or a lot of me actually, that said that, you know, you have to go out and do what you need to do now, and you can't wait for tomorrow. That there was a need to be, rather than feel guilty about being happy, I decided to be happy and feel less guilty, because nobody knows when, you know, or how long they've got on this earth, you know. Situations like my brother died, particularly because of my brother, because he was so young, you know. And that was 14 years ago, and had he been alive today, he'd still be a young man, and that demonstrates the way. But again, in cases like that, it makes you realise that you've got to move on and be 100% positive and happy with your life, and only by doing that can you be of use to other people or be of help to other people.
Now, you had a very lucky escape, or an unlucky experience, to be in the Hither Green
Yes,
rail
it was a
crash.
train crash, yeah. I was with my first wife at the time, Molly, and we were coming back from Hastings, and all the lights went out. We derailed at 90 miles an hour. The whole train went over, and of course there's one of those older first-class compartments where they had a corridor at the side. Most of the people on the Hastings commuter train in those days stood in the corridor, and of course that's the bit that went on its side. It's great. A lot of the people were killed in that way.
What did it leave you feeling like? What were the scars that you took
Oh
away
God,
from
I
that?
still have nightmares about it today. It was horrible. Not so much by what I went through, but what I saw, not just on the track, but also in the hospital afterwards.
Are you quite a fatalistic person? Did you think it wasn't meant to be that, you know, that I was going to die then? Is there a blueprint for your
No,
life,
I
do you
thought it
think?
was just pure luck.
Yeah.
That either I didn't die or didn't get seriously injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'd been, a year before that, the three of us had been in a dreadful car crash that rolled 8 times and a blowout, you know, and barely escaped our lives on that one, you know. So.
This is the control side back again, isn't it? This is the
Well, I think there's a
pragmatic
part
side.
of the human nature where we always think there's something else at work, and maybe there is, but I'm one of those people who like to have proof of that, you know, rather than having, you know, blind faith in something.
Well, when we come back, that's exactly what I want to ask you about, proof of
Okay.
other things at work in this particular house. You can summon them up for me.
We'll see.
Don't miss it. Come back later on for more from Robin Gibb.